What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you...
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my new edition of Sin's Chat Corner. Today we are very fortunate to be having the up-and-coming country singer Chelsea Cretus, which hopefully I said that right. We'll find out in a second, on our radio show. She was very prompt, I see, so we'll get right to her. Hey, Chelsea?
Hi.
You made it. Yay!
I did.
I was a little concerned about that Canadian connection because yesterday on my show, I don't know if you know this, I was going to have a London-based country singer guy by the name of Angela Tristan, who you're trying to get online, and unfortunately it did not work. I was very disappointed. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, not at all, actually. I just have to say this to everybody who is listening or who will listen, who has never seen Chelsea before. I've been privileged to take a look at her pictures and her music and all of her websites and her information. You're just a doll. I mean, you are an absolute peanut. You're beautiful and talented and so cute.
Oh, thank you so much. You're so nice.
Well, it's very true, actually. Fellow girls have to stick together, and you need to be told often, I think, that you're just a peanut. I was just telling your mom that not too long ago. I thought she needs to hear that she's done a wonderful job with this girl because you're top notch, and you have a sound, which we will get into, that's just, I think, is amazing. I think you do an amazing job on the song, which we're going to get into later. I think it's very impressive for lots of reasons. So let's get right to our question.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Not a problem. I wanted to kind of start off our interview maybe delving into your original motivation behind entering the musical business. Just maybe kind of tell us early on, what was that like? What was your thinking? How did you get into this?
Well, first of all, I never actually ever wanted to be a singer. Starting out, I never thought of it as like a career that I'd want to do like forever. And I always wanted to just sing, but never to pursue it as a career. But as I entered my first talent show at my elementary school when I was about, I'd say, 9 or 10 years old, that's when I really wanted to, like, do it forever. Because just being in front of that crowd and everything and seeing the response you give them from the songs that you sing and just feeling that rush that you have is just absolutely amazing. So when I started singing at 7 years old, it was basically just a hobby, and no one could stop me from singing. Everywhere I go, I'd sing. But I never really focused on it to be my sole career until I got in front of that live audience, and I felt that experience. It was just unforgettable, and I never turned back.
I was just going to say, now, were you also just as inclined to pick up a musical instrument and putz around with a guitar or other things, or was it just primarily the singing?
When I started singing, it definitely was just the singing. My mom and family got me a karaoke machine, and every year for Christmas I'd get like new karaoke CDs and everything like that, and mostly country, and that's when I really got into country as well. I would just sing, and I'd be in my living room just singing the songs that I got for Christmas and stuff like that, and then that's when it all came about. And I never really started with an instrument, but now that I'm doing it professionally, I definitely am interested in all types of instruments because it's a key piece to performing.
Definitely. Did you, and this is for those obviously who don't know this, was there any form of formalized training available to you early on, musically?
I didn't have training. I started off just as singing, like just naturally, just sang all the time and at my shows, even when I started performing live in front of audiences when I was about 13, 14 and up. I never had any training. But when I reached about 16 years old, I started taking vocal lessons. And unfortunately, I wasn't in the area long, so I had to move to a different vocal coach, which is the vocal coach I have now. And now it has helped me so much. I definitely recommend it to everyone. It's healthy for you, and it just really helps you, and it helps you become a better singer. Not that people that take vocal lessons are bad singers. It just really helps you improve who you want to be.
Certainly, and I would imagine, too, it definitely helps to be able to learn how to take care of your voice. My sister's a musician as well, and taking care of that and honing it and making sure that it's in good, adequate form all the time is vitally important, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely.
Gotcha. May I ask you, what forms of musical exposure were you privy to when you were growing up?
My family always listened to music all the time, no matter if my mom was, like, cleaning and putting on music. Or I have family members who are also musicians, not my immediate family, but like distant cousins and stuff that are also musicians. And I had seen them perform live and everything like that. And it kind of runs in the family, but I was always exposed to music all the time. And I think that really helped. Even when my mom was pregnant for me, she told me that she let me listen to music. So I guess it was from the womb.
Yep, I've done the same thing with my kids as well. It's a neat thing to get them exposed like early on. I would have to agree. Now, speaking of mom, I have to throw this out there because obviously you have parents. This is one of my favorite questions to ask. When you said to them, "Yep, I want to be this singer," were they thinking to themselves, "Well, she could be a doctor, she could be a lawyer, she could get into something that's more financially reliable"? Were they ever discouraging in wanting you to be in a solid career, something that's a guaranteed, if you will?
That's a lot of parents are like that, and I was so lucky that my mom is absolutely not like that. I told her I wanted to be a singer, and she's like, "Okay, good, let's do it. Anything you want, let's go there." So, I mean, my mom is definitely one of my rocks. She gets me, she got me where I am to a certain point till I found my manager, and then from there, my mom is just continuously supporting me, anything I do. So I'm very grateful.
Oh, my goodness, that is amazing. Okay, now to ask one further question there. Siblings, do you have any roots musically, meaning individuals in your family or artists or anything along that realm?
I'm actually an only child, and in my family, my immediate family, I am the only musician. So there's a lot of people that play guitar and stuff, but they're like distant cousins and everything. But in my immediate family, I am the only singer. So.
Well, that's kind of cool for you there. Do
Yeah.
you find it ever to be, or did your mom ever find it to be intrusive relative to, let's say, education, if you will? Because obviously, of course, one has to get their education, and with you being a younger individual, a whole of 18 and all,
Right.
I would imagine this had some part to play, meaning was it intrusive at any level?
I definitely had to balance them out. There's times where I had to put school definitely before music. But in my education, I had graduated with very high grades, and I definitely stuck to my studies and everything like that. But I knew how to balance the music and the school at the same time. It is very difficult. I mean, the late nights and everything like that can get very stressful. But, I mean, if you really want something, I just really focused on it, and it kind of all balanced out until I graduated, and it definitely has been working out ever since.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, moving forward, do you feel as though your skills are more or less adequate from the standpoint of, obviously, you're a self-taught musician? So do you feel that you would have, has it affected you at all one way or the other?
Pardon?
Do you feel that your skills are either more or less adequate, meaning because you're a self-taught musician? Obviously, those that have
Right.
gone through extensive training, might view this a little differently. So I'm just wondering your personal take on that. Do you think that it's harmed you in some way by not having adequate vocal lessons, et cetera?
It can be hard, but I mean, a lot of people, I think, if you have the push to do it, a lot of people can strive to get what they want. And definitely having professional vocal training and instrumentation and everything like that is definitely something that is a key in someone's career. But in a performer's stance, I think having the type of education for music can either make you or break you. You kind of pick up on certain habits and stuff like that, and you really just want to be yourself when you're a performer.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Do you think that I know that you mentioned that you've taken the vocal lessons, obviously.
Yes.
Do you think that that might have helped in some way as it's relative to your sound quality or your style as far as musical diversity goes? Has that been beneficial to you from those standpoints?
Oh, absolutely. After I started taking vocal lessons, I definitely noticed a big change in my voice and just the way I presented my voice when I was singing. And it definitely helps with your tone. It helps with the way you project. It helps with your breathing and everything like that. And those are definitely key points that you have to learn. And it definitely helped me tons because I didn't really know the proper way of doing things. And, I mean, everyone could say, yeah, you can sing, but it really helped me be more confident with myself and the way I perform, knowing that I know how to do it the proper way.
Sure. Makes a lot of sense, of course. I was interested to ask this because I know you're from Canada, and obviously, of course, I'm here in little United States in the Midwest. I'd like to ask you maybe to name for us some of your Canadian musical influences, meaning Canadians that you look up to or are inspired by.
Oh, definitely. Actually, one of the musicians that I look up to was being able to see Jason McCoy perform, and I actually got the honor of opening up for him on 3 dates of his tour. And just seeing him perform was absolutely incredible. I really love Terry Clark. She's awesome. In Canada, we have Michelle Wright. She's also a huge name, and she's very inspirational as well. For guys, there's Gord Bamford. I also got to meet him, and he just got signed to Sony, and he's doing incredible on his career, and he just has an absolutely amazing voice. So those are definitely a few inspirations here in Canada that are really helping me push for what I want, because that's definitely a standing point to where I'd like to be.
Okay. Now, on the flip side, if we were to go to the United States, tell me some individuals, because I understand that I think you might favor Kelly Clarkson or Carrie Underwood would be my guess.
You are so right.
Yep.
Definitely, I would have to say Kelly Clarkson, Miranda Lambert. My number one is Carrie Underwood. She is absolutely amazing in my eyes. Everything she does is just so great. Any song she makes has the proper presentation of it. Her words are so relatable. Everything she sings is just definitely inspiring for me to want to become that one day, as big as she is, and have what she has if I ever could.
I imagine that you will, obviously. Just in listening to her, of course, if you all haven't listened to her, you definitely should listen to the song we're going to be talking about, because you are benchmarked for success on the mere fact of not only are you attractive in today's society, it's a reality that most of our quote-unquote celebrities, especially celebrity singers, are attractive individuals. And you have just a very amazing sense of yourself, and you appear to be amazingly confident in the words that you sing, which I think is amazing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Sure. I wanted to ask, at what point did you opt to veer in the direction of country music as opposed to maybe another genre?
I really started off doing a lot of rock music, and it was kind of just because I had heard it a lot, and it was one of those things where everyone's doing it. So I was like, oh, well, I can make it in rock music because everyone else was singing it. But as I started performing live and singing different songs in a variety and everything like that, country just was my home. Everything that I sang sounded like country. My voice sounded like country. So I figured country music is amazing. It tells a story, every song that you hear. And it definitely is so inspirational, country music, just like the artists that sing it. And that's what really pushed me to country music, knowing that I had the ability to sound country. So it made sense to be country also, and it meant so much to me at the same time.
I gotcha. And have you, and this is, again, in your own personal opinion, because obviously I have my own thoughts on this, which is, would you concur or agree with the idea that country has kind of gone to the crossroads, meaning that you have older country musicians, and now we have these new up-and-comers like yourself, per se, and it's become more country rock, is that, for lack of a better term?
It definitely has. Yeah, it definitely has become more country rock. I mean, a lot of times I'll listen to a country song on the radio, and I'm like, that doesn't really sound country. But at the same time, nowadays, it does fit. But it definitely isn't the same as Loretta Lynn and Tammy Wynette and stuff like that. It's definitely not the same type of country, but I think those people have had such an influence on the music world that people nowadays have been able to take their music and turn it into what it is now and make it more modern and make it everything that it is. So it kind of does fit with the era we're in right now, but at the same time, I think old country music is also amazing too.
Oh, definitely. And I guess that was the other thing I want to get your take on is, in today's society, it would seem as though it's much easier for a particular artist to get a leg up, if you will, in the obviously in the invention of The Voice or American Idol. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, did it ever occur to you that perhaps you should go in the direction of, boom, let's get on The Voice, let's do American Idol? Would that have been the easier route to go?
Yes and no at the same time. I mean, the people that do get on, I mean, that's incredible exposure for them and a great experience, and a lot of them do get great things out of it. But I did enter Canada's Got Talent, and it's a very hard process, and there's tons and tons of people, incredibly talented people. And at the same time, there's room for all of us, but in those type of shows, there's only room for so many.
Right.
So it's kind of a difficult situation. Sometimes I feel that it's better to do it on your own and kind of just support everyone around you who is also a musician instead of having to do that off and go with the wind kind of per se, that it's better to do it on your own than have to follow a direction of a TV show.
It's a very good point. I agree with you 100%. It's almost too easy, if you will, just because back in the day, I'm sure Reba McEntire didn't get on XYZ show and then all of a sudden found her claim to fame. It does seem almost too easy to me.
Yeah, I mean, I find a lot of people, they have great stories in those things and everything like that, but there is so many talented people in the world. And just like you said, yeah, Reba McEntire, I mean, she had to go out there and push it on her own, just like Loretta Lynn and everything like that. They had to really strive for what they wanted. And at the same time, the people on the show are doing that, but, I mean, people that aren't on the show also do the same thing. So we're all kind of pushing for the same effect.
Gotcha. Of course. Now, if I were to ask you what you would constitute as being the critical turning point in your musical career, where would you say when did that happen, or has it happened yet?
My turning point, definitely, I've done a lot of, I would say, performances, festivals and stuff like that, and I've even performed in bars and everything for a very long time. But definitely my turnaround, I would have to say, is I got to perform at Hamilton Place and Cops Coliseum, which are two big venues here in Canada that major artists come in and do concerts. So I've had the privilege of opening up for Jason McCoy at Hamilton Place and being in Cops Coliseum and being able to do the tailgate parties for all the major stars that have come in there. And I also opened up for William Shatner in Hamilton Place. So those two places are very special to me because I definitely got to have my point where I felt like I was almost at where I'd like to be. But definitely I want to keep pushing, but those are definitely some very memorable moments for me.
So you think your best is yet to come, or do you think you're at that point so far where you're like, I'm okay with this?
I think my best is yet to come. I'm still pushing. Those people are absolutely incredible, but I definitely have more fight in me.
I kind of get it as much. You sound like a feisty gal, that's for sure. Okay. I want to note that throughout your career, obviously a good number of your appearances have been encompassing either fairs or festivals or bars that you had mentioned. Tell me how these experiences have molded you as a performer.
They are so much things that people don't know when you perform in situations like that. Especially when you're in a bar scene, you meet so many interesting people, I must say. At the same time, when you're performing different nights at a bar, you meet some incredibly just so nice people all the time. And then at the same time, you'll meet very bitter people. And, I mean, at that point is when you got to keep pushing because there's people out there that are just kind of, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but there's a lot of people out there that are very, I wouldn't say envious, but they really know how to put their words out there to hurt somebody. But that always makes you stronger. So it definitely is a building block for me to learn that stuff like that you really got to just brush off and kind of get past it and realize that your inner personality and everything is better than that, to listen to people that tell you you can't do things.
Exactly. It's the best attitude to have, actually. I would almost want to prove them wrong just on the mere fact of that, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I wanted to ask you, do you favor one venue over another? And if so, why?
I definitely would have to say I favor venues that have such great energy and incredible crowds. Not only people that come out and support me, but definitely venues that have just a following in itself that welcome you like you're their family. And when you go in there, you kind of just feel like you're at home. You don't feel awkward. You don't feel like you don't belong. It's just one of those places where you feel like you're 100% comfortable and you can give your best, and that people are going to appreciate what you put out there. So those are definitely the types of venues that I've been in that I really love, and I've been with you like that, and it's a comforting feeling, and I really love that.
I imagine so. I was actually quite taken aback, to tell you the truth, just because of your youthful age. As we all know, with you being 18, it must have been rather difficult to be booking your daughter at a bar, if you will, because obviously you're only what age? So I thought that was kind of intriguing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a little difficult at the time, but my mom she brought me in there, and during breaks and stuff, we'd go out and wait in the car, or I'd go outside and talk with my band, stuff like that. And I wouldn't always be subjected to, I would say, the alcohol and the people drinking all the time. I mean, I'd see them in the crowd and stuff like that, but I never really, at a young age, communicated with them. I mean, I'm still young, but I'm old enough now to know the difference than I would have back then.
Okay. Makes sense to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Most may not be aware of the fact that I know you've done pre-show performances, and just to name a few, which happen to be my favorite, Alan Jackson, Rascal Flatts, and Little Big Town. Yeah. Maybe describe to the listening audience the memories that you recall from just being involved with these types of celebrities. Was it overwhelming? What was that experience like?
It was it was overwhelming. It was extremely exciting. And it was also very memorable. Being able to feel kind of important, I would say, going in there and being able to be that band that performs live in front of that audience that is going to go in and listen to major people that, like Alan Jackson, like Little Big Town, and Rascal Flatts, people that have just made such an impact on the country music world, is just absolutely incredible, I find. And it's just, I was so honored to be able to do that, just to be in that environment with people who are so supportive of those artists. And now I've met and I got to take pictures with some of the audience that was there and everything, and be able to have their support also is just really, really inspiring to be able to do that.
Okay. Now, am I to gather that you met the groups as well? You were able to get a chance to speak with them or meet them personally?
Some of them I have. Others don't arrive until their very show. So it depends what artist you're dealing with. I usually find the bigger the artist, the more, I would say, the more it's more difficult to be able to get the intimate time with them, because first of all, when they get there, they're so busy. They have their meet and greets and everything like that. We get to meet their people, the people that are on their team that help them. And I got to meet the Eli Young Band. I've gotten to meet Crystal Shawanda, Jason McCoy, William Shatner, like I said. And it just depends what artist you're dealing with. But, I mean, everyone that works for all these people are just so incredibly nice. And you understand why they are where they are, because of just the team they have is very, very amazing.
I imagine it's probably a very polished show, if you will. Basically, get them in, do this. It's all very structured, which is kind of nice. you have that opportunity.
Yeah,
Definitely. No, I know that we touched on this a little bit before. Obviously, you mentioned that you opened up for Jason McCoy, which, to those that don't know, obviously he's a fellow Canadian singer and quite the accomplished musician. I know he's got just a slew of awards that he's racking up. From what I hear, he's an amazingly nice person. If I asked you to best describe him in one word, what would you tell us about him?
Oh, my goodness. That's very difficult. But if I could combine the word, I would say absolutely incredible.
Really?
Would definitely be my word. If I could combine those two together.
Were you intimidated at all by that experience?
Absolutely not. I was so inspired. Just being able to watch him, I was like, wow, he is amazing. He was so good. And just being able to see him perform after I performed, I was like, wow, I can't wait till I have the audience he does and do a show like he does, because that is just amazing. I wasn't intimidated. I think I was so inspired by him because he did such an incredible job. I definitely look up to him to be able to do that, and I want to be able to do the same thing.
I imagine so. And I guess I wanted to ask you, were you fans of all these artists prior to actually meeting them?
I was, actually. That's why it was so exciting for me, because my manager would come up to me and say, oh, you're going to be opening for Crystal Shawanda. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. Or William Shatner, that was a huge one. Me and my band kind of freaked out at that one. We didn't tell William Shatner we did, though, but...
We're going to get to him in a second. I imagine that probably was, actually.
Yeah, it was exciting. So we are definitely fans of a lot of the artists we've opened up for.
Oh, I imagine so, definitely. And just to let you know, to give you a leg up here, you have a fan who's listening by the name of John, and he just indicated to me he saw you perform last month with Jason McCoy, and he said that you were just pretty awesome. 2 thumbs up. That's an exact quote from your friend in Ontario.
Awesome.
Yeah, that is
thank you so much.
Well, and you know what's really neat is you're getting varied experiences with seasoned artists, with individuals that you can learn from, which I can only imagine will further your career and further you as a musician, of course. Now, let's switch a minute and talk about William Shatner, obviously, because we all know who he is and where he came from. And how did that collaboration come about where you were going to be doing something with him?
Well, that's the funny thing. I never expected something like that until my manager had told me that I was doing that, and I was like, but how is that going to work? I mean, he's funny. I'm not. He's talking. I'm singing. So how is this going to happen? But it actually ended up being like a great combination together, and I sang, and then he came and he did his speech, and I opened up for him before he came and did his meet and greet and everything like that. And we got our pictures, and I got to meet him, and he's just so nice. By the end of the night, he was calling me by my last name and holding my hand. So it was a great experience, and he's just such a genuine person, and he's so nice. And a lot of people think with celebrities as big as him that they wouldn't do that down to earth, and he definitely is. And that's what is a comfort feeling about that, because you can feel comfortable being able to talk to someone and be with someone on that level. And it's really inspiring. That word keeps coming up, but it definitely is. That's stuff that keeps pushing me to go further, to be able to be in spots like that. Even though I'm not an actor or an actress, it definitely helps me become what I want to be, being able to look up to people like that.
And that's awesome that he's able to do that, or to prove to be inspiring to you, which is neat. It's great that you've had that opportunity, actually. And I know you've referenced your manager a couple different times, so tell everybody who's your current manager.
Lisa McKeon is my current manager, and she's awesome. And she's also my drummer in my band, so we're together a lot. Yes.
Little unknown fact here, folks. Look at that. She's got her manager as her drummer. Wow. That's different.
Yeah, it works out because she's always at a show with me. And she helps me get the shows, and she knows how to do business, that's for sure. So I'm very, very grateful that I have her.
That's awesome. That is amazing. I think musicians are probably some of the coolest people you're ever going to meet in your life. I'm surrounded by them on a weekly basis. They're basically my family, and I just kudos to the musicians. I see what they go through. I've seen them play great gigs, and I've seen them play to 4 or 5 people, and it's a pretty rigorous business. You really have to have tough skin for it, and you have to be prepared for what's coming. Ironically, which I don't know if everybody knows this, the year 2009, you were nominated for Niagara Rising Star through the Niagara Music Awards.
Yes.
To those who aren't familiar with things such as that, maybe kind of explain that process, meaning how you got initially involved to the actual nomination itself.
Well, basically that is all Niagara musicians. Mostly every Niagara musician that I ever came in contact had entered that, and it was open to everyone who is a musician. And you got to input all your credentials and everything, and you sent it in, and it was considered, and they'd have a judging party, and you get to go see your competition, everything you're up against. And at the end of the night, you got to, they revealed the nominees. And in 2009, I was actually nominated for Rising Star, which was awesome. I was against, I would say, maybe 8 or 9 people. And I was very young, so that was like a starting point in my career where I was like, oh, I can get nominated for this. That's awesome. I want to keep going. And it turned out to be a great experience. I mean, I got to dress up. I felt kind of important. So, I mean, at 14 and stuff like that, I was really, really exciting for me.
I imagine so. Now, your reactions to that when you found out that, of course, you're being nominated for such an honor like that, what was your reaction? I mean, were you stunned, excited, nervous? What was going through your head?
I turned to my mom and I started screaming and jumping up and down, and she started jumping with me. So I was like, "Hey, this is cool." My mom's jumping too. This is awesome. My mom never jumps.
Oh my God! I imagine what the response will be when the Grammy comes. Chelsea will get nominated for her first Grammy, and it'll just be massive mayhem. You'll be screaming in the streets.
Yeah, my mom. I'm gonna have to pick my mom up with something. I don't know. I'm gonna have to peel her off the ground.
I imagine so. But you know what? That's neat and it's exciting, and it's just another venue, or I should say, a means for you to be able to get yourself out there, which I think is just incredible. Again, another testament to your talent, because clearly you're getting yourself out there. People know who you are. They see you. They recognize you, and that's amazing. And interestingly, I didn't realize that not only are you musically mesmerizing, but you've performed in the capacity of being an indie movie actress, and that's exciting too. Could you maybe expound to us maybe a few of your roles, as well as how that opportunity was presented to you?
That opportunity was presented to me through a few friends through Facebook who had actually seen that I was a musician. And they asked if I could act, and I'm like, oh my goodness, not really. This probably isn't going to go over well. And they're like, no, just try it. I mean, you might be good at it. So I did a few roles for these people, and it actually turned out really well. It got entered in the Hamilton Film Festival and also in Berlin. So that was a great experience, being able to have that exposure, not only as a musician, but as an actress as well. And they took flight of my music, too, and put it into the film. So the credits at the end were actually one of my songs, and that was really cool, I thought, because not only was I in the movie, but I got to put my music out there also. So it was a great experience.
Combination win, basically, you could say. And might I ask, how was the transition between being in an actor capacity as compared to being a musician? What are the challenges between the two?
It's kind of difficult. I find the difference between musicians and actors. Actors are very, very zoned in on the way they feel, on what their part is going to be, what they're going to be acting out, basically. And a musician is just their same show, the things they do all the time, and they go out there and they're just very spontaneous with it. As a performer myself, I go out there, I say different things every single time I perform. I do different things, I move different ways. But in a movie, it's completely different. You have to be so kind of in the zone, and you definitely have to follow a script also and just do exactly what is written there. So it's for some, and isn't for some, but as a performer, it definitely is very different because there's a big transition you have to do.
And were you able to do that transition, do you think, successfully, or do you kind of look back at it and think, oh, I need some more experience in that area?
I was able to do that transition. I wouldn't say that I would definitely be like this huge movie actress at all. I mean, I did the best I could, which is all I could do. And it did turn out very well. I mean, I wasn't looking at it saying, oh, well, I really sucked in that. I was looking at it saying, well, I mean, for my first film, for my second film, that was actually pretty good. I mean, the more I do it, just like singing, you get better and better at it. And when you go on performing as a singer, you're acting out a part also. I mean, you have to feel the song, you have to act out the words you're saying. You have to actually be in that type of song and be in the mood, and that's the same thing for acting. You have to be that character. You have to want to portray that character properly, and that's where the two come together. I think definitely use some of the actions that you would use in performing, which definitely helped me.
Okay. Now, I guess it would be ignorant for me based on your answer here. I guess I'm just wondering, would Chelsea venture into this somewhere down the road, do you think? Or are you kind of just like, yeah, I'm not really good at this, or I'm not liking my performance in this, so maybe hold off on that? I mean, what are your thoughts for the future?
I definitely would do it again, especially if it was something even bigger than what I did before, which was big for me, being in those type of film festivals and stuff like that, which was really awesome, not even being able to do it before. So getting something even more up the ladder would be incredibly awesome for me, and I definitely accept and try it out if someone was willing to cast me on something like that, and I think it would be a lot of fun.
Okay, and I'm going back to the Canadian thing again because, of course, I'm here from the U.S. Are you finding that in your neck of the woods, Canada per se, that the roles are limited as it relates, like for indie films, or do you find that there are more opportunities that present themselves there?
I find that more films and stuff get noticed in the U.S. more. They're much more recognized, I feel. But at the same time, there is definitely films that come from Canada that hit the United States that are really, really cool. And I think a lot of films in Canada definitely have an impact, but there is not, from my point of view, I don't think there is tons of casting here that could really give someone a huge break. But at the same time, there definitely is casting here for people that play extras and stuff, and that could definitely build you to something even bigger, being able to be exposed to that type of casting call. So being able to do something like that, I think just taking those baby steps and all that stuff that leads up to it could really help someone in the long run. Just like music, doing the little things could make a big difference.
I gotcha. And just speaking as a individual who's had an opportunity to view some of the Canadians that are out there, all I can say is, oh my God! I saw my kids were watching WWE wrestling the other day, or some old version of it, and Chris Jericho, who's from Canada, of course, was on there. And I have to say this much about you Canadians: you're just beautiful people, hands down. I mean, literally, hands down. People that come from Canada are just gorgeous. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't know. You have like the cute gene or something, because I'm like, this is bananas how all of you people look so attractive. It's just funny to me, because in the United States, we don't all have that luck. You know, it's one of those
must
things.
Be in our water.
Well, yeah,
in our water.
It's so funny too, because I'm looking on this right now, as a matter of fact, and a dear friend of mine who's listening in right now, his wife is a belly dancer, and of course, obviously, she's not from the United States. She's from Greece originally, and again, I have to revert to, it must be us. We are ugly United States people, because you have to be from out of this country to get the cute genes. It kills me, I'm telling you.
Oh, no. People from America are beautiful, too. I see so many gorgeous people in America. I've only been there a few times. I mean, I haven't been everywhere, but, I mean, I've been to Nashville also, and I saw incredibly beautiful people, so, and I think you're beautiful. So there's tons of people from the USA that are,
look at
that
that. We're all
definitely
beautiful
have the
here
cute
in the US,
gene also.
That's so cute. Now, I wanted to be able to get a chance to obviously talk about your brand new video/song, which is, of course, entitled If Your Heart Is Not In It. I can say I'm listening to it as a personal observation. I would best describe your sound as resembling Carrie Underwood. Now, I'm curious to ask you if you've ever heard that before.
I get Carrie Underwood and Miranda Lambert mixed. Whatever that is, I apparently sound like a mix of them. So I guess it's their voices combined. I'm not sure.
Sure.
But definitely
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say definitely my sound is sweet and edgy, if that makes sense.
Kind of, sort of. I was going to say, I think I get the point of what you're trying to get at there, actually. Miranda Lambert, I guess I never gave her consideration. I probably should have, because that might very well be close to you as well, now that I think about that, too. Would you agree with that? Would you say that you maybe might have Carrie Underwood sound to you at some point?
I'm very honored that you would say that. It definitely is what I try to go for. I don't try and sound exactly like her, but I definitely want to have the power and just the expression she does in her music also. So, yeah, I definitely do agree with you, because that's something I'm definitely striving to do, is to sound, have that incredible sound like she does also. And, I mean, I still have tons of work to do, but definitely.
Now, I have to ask you this, because honestly, I'm not 100% sure that I got this information correct or not. Now, you actually wrote this song, or this song was written for you, just so I can clarify?
Yes, this song was written not exactly for me. It was written a while ago by my manager and her previous band and some other band members in her band. And this was a while back, and when me and her signed together and she started playing in my band also, she gave me this song and asked me what I thought of it. And I listened to the original, and I thought, this song is really good. I mean, the words are awesome. They fit me. And nowadays we could definitely change it up to make it something that fits now. And we kind of tweaked the music just a tiny bit just to make it a more modern sound and everything like that. And it turned out to be really great, and it's something that I can definitely relate to. So I do love this song.
Now, in curious minds are probably going to want to ask this question, obviously, down the road. Do you find yourself, or would you think you'll find yourself doing the songwriting portion, being able to compose things, write about things, experiences you've had? Do you think that's likely in the future?
It definitely is. My album's going to be coming out later on this year. And when it does, there is going to be a lot of pieces on there that are actually written by myself and a lot of other songwriters. So, yeah. So they're definitely going to be able to get a taste of my writing and the stuff that I like to do also on that album that comes out.
That's awesome. Now, maybe you can kind of walk us through this, because not all of us are singer-songwriters, so we don't know this process, for the music or otherwise. Kind of walk us through the process of what prompted the creation of the song.
Pardon me? Sorry.
That's okay. Can you maybe walk us through, for those of us who obviously don't do songwriting or singing, walk us through the process in terms of what prompted the creation of this song? How did it come to be?
Oh, okay. The song that you're going to play, or the songs that are going to be on my album?
I was going to say both, actually, if you could address both of those.
Okay. The song for that you're going to play, I wasn't involved in the process of writing it, but the way I hear it is everyone just sat down, wrote the song, but it definitely was based on experience of one of the people in the band, and that's what I really think in a country song is definitely needed, the process of being able to write a song that really portrays someone's feelings and could really impact someone who's listening on the radio or listening to the CD to be able to say, hey, I feel the same way. So I think that's definitely a key piece of a song, being able to build it to make other people relate to it. And that is something I definitely do with my writing also. I want teenage girls my age to be able to relate to my music. But at the same time, I want people who are also 35 and up to be able to relate to my music also. I want it to be able to impact everyone of all ages and just be able to have carefree listening when they listen to my music and not feel like they can't listen to it anymore or they can't relate to it. So that's definitely one of the pieces that I would definitely say is a key point to building a proper song.
I would agree with you, definitely. And us artists, like, for instance, obviously I'm not a singer, but I know that all of us have a process. So maybe walk us through, like, those who don't live with Chelsea. let us know, you've got a day and you're going to have a performance going on that night or whatever have you. What do you have a process? Do you have a certain routine, if you will, if you want to call it that, in terms of prepping for a show? What goes on physically, mentally, what's happening?
It depends what type of show it is, but basically any type of show I do, it involves getting a lot of sleep, getting ready for it, preparing a set list for the song, for the music and the performance that you're going to do that night. Preparing the way you look is definitely a huge factor in being a performer, because the way you portray yourself is what people think of you. And I really put that into consideration when I do go out and perform, because the way I look is definitely a way I want people to think of me. I don't want them to think badly of me, or that I dress poorly, or that I don't know what I'm doing at all. So that is definitely one of the factors. My outfit's always the biggest deal. I don't know why. It should be my voice, but I feel like maybe I've mastered that kind of a bit for the show, so I have to focus on the ever-changing things when I'm getting ready. So those are definitely the key things that I would have to say I do to prepare for a show, but also just being able to have conversations and stuff with my band members and everything to go over what we're doing that night and stuff like that. It's a lot of preparation, but when you get in the right spot and you meet the right people and everything like that and you all kind of click, it easily comes together, and it can easily be done once you've done it so much, if that makes any sense.
It makes complete sense, because I'm just sitting here listening to you and thinking to myself, I do that every day when I come on air, actually. It's a whole lot of preparation. It's a whole lot of research. It's a whole lot of work, and then you're wondering, oh, is this guest going to come on, and is he or she going to hate me and think she never shuts up, and these questions are stupid, and, except nobody sees me, so I can sit around in my pajamas and do my show. But outside of that, I see what you mean about it all clicking and coming together and that whole bit. I've been sitting here and thinking to myself, I should probably ask you the obvious question, which is, because you're younger and because of the, what you just detailed for us, it is a lot of pressure and responsibility and all of those things. Do you ever wake up in the morning and say to yourself, I just don't know if I want to do this? It becomes so overwhelming, or you just get burnt out on it, even though you're young? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. There are definitely times where I wake up and I'll think to myself, can I actually do this? And at the end of the day, not even the end of the day, I would say around lunchtime, when I wake up about 9 a.m., when lunchtime rolls around, I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Yes, you can do this, and just get up out of bed. Me, eating's an important thing, let me say that. So I eat something, and I'm usually okay. I'm like, hey, let's write a song, or let's post a video, or let's write a status update about my music, or let's let everyone know what's going on. So when I look on my Facebook fan page and stuff like that and see all the people that just support my music and everything, that really helps me, and just everyone around me who always talks me out of not wanting to do things definitely helps me a lot. So I would say sometimes I do feel like I can't do things, but at the same time, I think it's just all the struggles that a musician goes through, and it's a lot of pressure, and it kind of just builds up, and it kind of brings you down a little bit. But when you sit and you think of it, if you're a true musician that really wants to be out there, you definitely pull through it. And like I said, around lunchtime or by the end of the day, you'll be like, what the heck are you thinking? Yes, of course you want to do this.
I know exactly what you mean. 5 minutes before I go on air, and I'm like, oh, my God, do I really want to do this? What's going to happen? Is the show going to go on? Is this going to be successful? Anyone listen to it? You know exactly what you're talking about, actually.
Yeah.
So that's good. Now, I wanted to let the audience member know this, or maybe you can enlighten them a little bit about some of the current endorsements that you've received or are working with at the present time.
Right. Of course. I have Harvey's, who supports me, which is a restaurant here in Canada. I actually don't know if you guys have it there in the U.S., but it is a big food chain here down in Canada, and they support my music. And I have Herbert's Boots, Lovey Straps, they are also just, I would say, merchandise that also supports me. They don't create my merchandise, but they do help endorse me a little bit, and that really helps me, having people who actually are so successful with their businesses and everything like that, and just having the head people in these things being able to support me is very, very, very nice. So I appreciate everyone who does sponsor me and helps me, and definitely helps me keep pushing out there to become what I really want to be. So they definitely are very, very much appreciated.
That's awesome, actually. Now, for those individuals, like let's say John, for instance, who has been very, very sweet and complimentary, who is a fan of yours, of course, is listening in. If he wants to come and meet Chelsea in person, are you looking in the future or currently doing things such as fan events or fan clubs? Some people will do that, or just more public things where you're doing a meet and greet sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely. It's a little bit of a while away, but in March 8th, I'm actually doing a meet and greet at the Great Wolf Lodge, and that's I think you guys have it in the U.S. also.
Yes, we do.
And it's a big hotel down here, and all the little kids and everything come out, and they dance to my music, and I get to meet all of them after, which is great because I love being able to meet all the little kids and everything that just appreciate music so much. You really don't realize it, but little kids are definitely the ones that have the most respect, I would say, for a lot of music. I mean, they love any type of music you put on. They'll dance to it. They're not afraid to be silly. So it definitely is really cute and very fun at stuff like that. Any show I do, usually I stay afterwards, and I love to meet all my fans. So anyone who wants to come out to a show, I definitely would stay, take pictures, talk to you guys. I love doing that stuff. I mean, my fans are definitely one of my inspirations, so I love meeting all of them.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing. I was going to tip off and mention to you, I don't know if you know this young lady who's a friend of my show, actually. Josie Milner is her name. She's actually a 17-year-old country singer. She kind of even looks like you, or you kind of even look like her. It's kind of ironic. I was looking at the both of you today, and I'm like, oh, my God, I have to tell this girl, if you get a chance to connect with Josie Milner, please do so, actually. She's represented by a good friend of mine. She's amazing, and she's 17 years old. You guys probably have a lot in common. You're not from the same neighborhood, of course, because she's in the U.S., but she was on the show. She's pleasant and lovely and just another girl that I just can't say enough about, of course. So you definitely should get connected with her.
I'd love to. That's awesome.
Oh, that's amazing. Terrific. I'm glad to hear that, actually. Now, if I were to ask you, being one of the younger generations as it relates to music, if there's something you wanted to pass on to somebody who's maybe in your situation or first getting out there, any sorts of good advice or anything you'd want to lend to them or pass on to them?
It definitely, I would say, anyone who is a teenager starting in the music business, or even a very young person who isn't a teenager yet starting in the music business, or anyone who's starting in the music business. It is a very, very hard business to start, but if you have the drive, you definitely will make it to where you want to be. Don't let anyone crush your dreams, stop your dreams, because the stars are the limit, sky's the limit. However that saying goes, that's definitely how it is, and you can't really let anyone bring you down, because only you can be what you want to be, and you have to really push yourself. Definitely support from everyone around you is a key piece, even if you don't have support from your family and stuff like that, which is often a case, which can sometimes be kind of sad and it breaks you down. But I am thankful enough to have the support. But if you don't, there are people out there that will support you, that will love your music, and will definitely want to follow you on your career and help you be where you want to be. So my final thing I would say is don't let anyone stop you, because you can make it.
That's awesome words from a young lady, too, I have to say. Now, remind us again in terms of where we're going to be able to find you as it relates to the upcoming album that you've got coming out. When is that going to happen, and how are we going to find it?
That will be happening later on this year, I would say about springtime. Right now we're just organizing all the songs that are going to be going on it, and picking what is best fitted for the album. So it's going to be a really fun album with tons of songwriters, and you guys will be able to check it out at my website, which is www.chelseakreitz.com. It'll also be for sale on CD Baby and iTunes also, so you guys can go purchase it on there. Listen to the previews if you haven't heard my music before, and if you like it, please join my fan page also, which is just Chelsea Kreitz, and you guys can see everything and maybe come out to a show, and I'd love to meet you all. And follow me on Twitter, too, which is just Chelsea Kreitz, and you guys can see all my updates and stuff like that. And when the album comes out and when my new music video and everything drops, I definitely love to have everyone who would love to be a part of it definitely be there with me and experience all that great stuff that's going to be happening this year in 2013.
Wow, look at that. You just did my job for me because I was coming up to that part of it. Look at that. You just did it all for me, so I don't have to say a damn thing. I can just sit here.
Oh, no, I suck.
How
I'm
funny
sorry.
is that? No, I had two more little ditties for you. First of all, the disappointing part, which is anybody who is listening to the show live, just so you know this too, Chelsea, you can let people know. Anybody that didn't get an opportunity to listen to it live today, you can go back and I'd say within the next 20 minutes or so, if they go back onto Blog Talk Radio tonight, tomorrow, next week, next month, you can automatically listen to this show as an archived episode. Unfortunately, for some reason, I'm having a problem dropping this audio file, so tonight I will come back onto to your show, and then people will actually have at the very tail end of it your song playing, because for some reason my audio won't let me lift it up here. So you could, literally, since you're on the phone, you could sing it. Live. I'm thinking, you know what, this is a first for Cin's Chat Corner. She's never put a guest on the spot and said, will you do it live? So what do you think? Can you sing us something? Anything? Right off the cuff? Let's see what kind of talent she's got. Let's do it.
What do you want me to sing?
Oh, I have to give you a suggestion here. Let's see. Do me a Carrie Underwood something. Or you could sing your own song, actually, because obviously, of course, these folks want to get a feel for the song. If your heart's not in it, you could sing that. Okay.
How would I sing you a chorus?
Okay. I can live with that. I'll put the actual recorded beautiful song on there later, but we have the real deal here. Come on now. We should be able to get to sing something.
Oh, dear. I apologize.
And there's no music or anything. I've really caught her. That's what we do on this show. We like to get you off the tail of your seat, so to speak. So this is cool. Just give me a little something. We all want to hear the voice.
All right. If your heart's not in it, I won't follow.
Wow.
Going to go?
That's good. I think that if I continue to ask you to go along, you might get too embarrassed, and we don't want to definitely do that.
Oh, no, I'm not embarrassed. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. I didn't want to, not have everybody listen to that. My closing question for you actually comes from your adoring fan here. He wanted me to ask you what your favorite song to sing is, not only cover-wise or maybe just to sing in general, just one of your favorite covers to sing and why.
Oh, that's difficult because right now I have 3 covers that I love, but I would have to say Georgia Peaches, which is by Lauren Elena, which actually was second runner-up on American Idol, and she's doing awesome, and 2 by Carrie Underwood, which is Good Girl and Cupid's Got a Shotgun. Those are definitely my favorites right now.
Good Girl. That's got to be one of my hands-down favorites, actually. That's
Mine
absolutely, absolutely awesome. Now, in a perfect world, here's a good question for you. Since I threw that Josie Milner thing out there, and I do know her publicist, I'm thinking duet in the future?
Pardon?
I'm thinking duet in the future, as in duet, as in one blonde girl, 118, 117, both country. I see it. I'm thinking this might be a good deal. Thoughts?
Yeah. Let's do it up. Tell her publicist to give me a call.
That would be absolutely awesome.
Josie's give my manager a call.
Yes, she is a total sweetheart, actually. Like I said, I looked at the both of you and just thought to myself, this would be a great combination. And you're both in the same genre, and you're both young, and you're both doing very well. So it's really refreshing, actually. Before I actually say what I need to say, let me just brush past again, because I know you started to mention it, to let everybody know. Of course, you have a website, which is www.Chelsea. Is it Kreitz or Kreitz, or how do we pronounce that?
It's Kreitz, actually.
Kreitz. I totally screwed that up. Great. Chelsea Kreitz. Got it
It's
now.
okay.
Great. I can't even spell. Lovely. Same thing for the Twitter handle, which is @ and then, of course, Chelsea, which is spelled Chelseea, last name spelled Crites. You will also find a fan page on Facebook, of course. I know that your music is on both YouTube, Reverb Nation, as well as iTunes now as well. Did I miss anything?
No, you're actually doing much better than I did.
Wow.
You got it all.
And you're the guest. Look at this. Oh, my goodness gracious. So this is what I have to say to you, little young Chelsea, as I might have started in the beginning by saying, you're absolutely breathtakingly beautiful for a young lady. I have to say that. I'm amazed that you cosmetically look so absolutely adorable. You just sound to me like you would just be one of those sweet young ladies that I sit and have lunch with and just was so composed and put together and very polished. You're very good at what you do, and it's evident to me that you resonate this passion in just in listening to your music, and I think that you have a very long, solid, beautiful career ahead of you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much, and thank you so much for having me on your show also.
Oh, no, not a problem at all. Now, the only other thing that I ask of you is that, you know, like 5 years down the road when you become, like, Grammy-worthy and you're standing up there doing your speech, you know, that since Chat Corner, you know, she took 5 minutes or an hour or whatever to talk to me, I just get a little shout-out there or George Gate or something like that. That would be great.
Yeah,
I would
for
love
sure.
That. Yes, and certainly, we would love to have you back on the show. Next time when you get your album all ready and set to go, come on back and talk to us about it.
I'd absolutely love to do that. That sounds like a plan.
All right, honey. Well, you have yourself a wonderful evening. I'm going to finish up with my group here, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right,
you have
Chelsea,
a nice
take
day
care.
as well.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, folks. That was my amazing interview with Chelsea Creets, I want to say. I'm probably screwing that up again. But as I mentioned before, her music is on iTunes, Reverb Nation, and YouTube. Also hook up with her on her website or on her Facebook fan page or, of course, on Twitter. I just wanted to throw out as a quick reminder that tomorrow I'll be doing my sister network show, which is, of course, on Sam Crow Radio. For those of you that haven't checked it out, please make it a point to go onto Facebook. 3 simple words, Sam, S-A-M, Crow, C-R-O, and last, of course, being radio. Tomorrow I'm going to be having a 5 o'clock interview with the gentleman who actually played the character of Hollywood. For those of you that don't extensively watch Sons of Anarchy, Hollywood is actually a featured, and what they mean featured is there's a motorcycle gang of the Mayans. He's an actual featured Mayan. So you've got your lead actors, of course, and he's a featured actor. So I'm curious to get a chance to talk to him tomorrow. And that's also on Blog Talk Radio underneath the handle of Sam Crow Radio. I want to say thank you to all my peeps and everybody that listened today. Of course, I always appreciate that. I'm off to spend some good quality time with my friend Dee. You have yourselves a lovely evening, and please, please, again, remember, 5 o'clock tomorrow, Sam Crow Radio. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really? Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really? Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.